Hello everybody and welcome to the Year 9 Season 3 attacker tier list for Rainbow Six Siege. Of course, this is my opinion, as is every single tier list video, so if you disagree with anything, drop a comment, we'll have a civilized conversation about it. That's the joy of tier lists. Now, I know this has every operator in it, but we're going to split up between attackers and defenders since a lot of people always prefer when I do that, so we're just going to miss out the defenders in this video, and then we'll do another video where we're doing the defenders, so we're just going to focus on the attackers, meaning our first one is going to be with Brava. Now, I just want to say, before we continue, hit that sub button. We're almost at 200k, and let's get into this. So Brava, to me, is probably a B tier operator. I've absolutely loved Brava since the start. I play her so much. I think she's an amazing operator, don't get me wrong. Great loadout. Her gadget is incredible for the attacking team, and the amount of interactions it introduced to the game is something so unique, which we've never seen before. I just think it's because she has so many counters, considering how hard it is to especially get drones into a lot of bomb sites these days anyway, because of operators like Mute and stuff like that, and people just shooting them. Brava is a very high skill, high risk, but high reward as well. Not high risk in the aspect that she herself will die, but high risk of how fragile her drones can be and how well you have to utilize them. So I'm going to put her in B, not because she's bad, not because her gadget's bad or anything. It's just because of how hard it is to pull off a lot of good hacks with Brava, but when you do, they pay off very well. Right, our next attacker here is Damos, and he's probably going to be an A tier operator for me. Damos, I think, is a really impressive operator when you think about him, because he fits into the same playstyle as Lion and Jackal, but he's definitely the most balanced one out of them. If you think about Lion when he first released, he was an absolute powerhouse, overpowered. It's clear they didn't want to make that same mistake with Damos, and honestly, they didn't. Damos is a very well-balanced operator, very fun to play, and very useful. He's great at hunting down roamers, and he especially shines the moment the attacking team get an opening pick or an advantage. When the game goes from a 5v5 to a 5v3 for the attackers, Damos just absolutely slams that final attack, pinpointing all those final attackers, relaying that information to the team. He is absolutely insane. Such a fun, unique operator, and it's just cool for us lore heads to have Damos as a playable operator. Yeah, I think he's going to be A for me. He's not going to be S. I just don't think, for me personally, he is in that S tier. I think he's very well balanced. I think he's very strong. But to me, he just kind of fits in as an A tier operator. Next up, we have Grim, and honestly, I think he might be my first S tier operator at this current point in time. His gadget is just great at area denial and finding where enemies are. He has a great secondary loadout, great primary loadout. Everything about his kit is desirable. You can do so much with it. Of course, you can you know, watch bombs already planted with his Kawan launcher and his Kawan hives. I was forgetting what his gadget was called for a second there. But yeah, Grim can do so much. He's probably one of the coolest operators in terms of where they were introduced to the game. They were extremely underwhelming. No one really saw him being in a great spot ever, and it was kind of just be like, yeah, I don't think Grim's ever going to be that good. And then we fast forward to today, where Grim is an absolute powerhouse, and he was definitely one of those gadgets where it was like, trust the process, you know? The devs knew what they wanted when they made him. They kind of missed the mark when they released him, and after a few tweaks, he's an amazing operator. So I think he sits at S tier for me. Again, this is my opinion. You're welcome to change it and everything. I'm going to give my reasons, but yeah. Next up, we have Osa. She's going to be A tier for me as well. I think Osa is just a very strong operator. I've loved her ever since she's came out. I mean, if you watch my streams or my rank clips videos, which are highlights of my streams, which I recommend watching, I hit some nice clips and everything, and I try and be a bit more tactical than some other people, but I do like my gunplays as well. But I think Osa is an incredible operator. I think you can do so much with her. I think just the concept of a deployable shield on attack, as versatile as hers, opened the door to so much stuff, and especially if you are playing in a tactical team and you know, you are coordinating for plants and pushes. Not only is Osa great at holding down line of sights and holding down hallways with her shield, if you're going for that plant, she can put that down and plant behind it. Now, of course, you can still be countered by impact nades and nitro cells. She isn't immune to everything, but that being said, she still brings a lot of advantage to those moments, and I think she's absolutely incredible. I love Osa. Definitely been one of my most played and favorite operators for a long time. You know, Ram is a confusing one for me because honestly, like, I kind of want to put her in S tier because I play Ram a lot. This is another one of my most played attackers right now, and the amount of ease that she's given me to play vertical and give phantom pressure and push people out, it's absolutely insane. Like, I think of Nighthaven Labs, for example. I always like to play the vertical operator. I know my teammates like to do it as well, but I'm quite good at playing vertical. I've always prided myself on being a good vertical player, and with Ram, I've just like been able to do it on so many maps, so much safer and easier. And I think a lot of things people forget about playing verticality with Ram as well is how quick it is as well. Like, I can just throw, I can learn a map, learn 3 windows which I need to throw a boogie through, which will give me as much verticality as I need, and I can do that within like the first 30 seconds of the round, and then after that I can focus on roam clearing or doing something else with my teammate. And she just is so efficient. And especially as someone who's a massive vertical player like me, I think Ram is absolutely incredible. Like, I'll give the example of Clubhouse as well. All you have to do is throw a Ram boogie down the kitchen hallway from the outside window, and you've opened up that entire hallway. Now, that causes phantom pressure to anyone playing underneath there, because they're sort of scared they're going to get hit and stuff like that. And you've just opened that up within the first 10 seconds of the round without really much anything stopping you. She's absolutely insane. I absolutely love Ram, and I think she's an easy S tier for me. Next up, we have Flores. He's another A tier operator for me. His Rotero drones are so useful. A map I love playing him on is Bank when we're attacking the top floor. I really enjoy playing Flores there. Getting your drone around the corner, especially like on top square, people always make head holes there. Well, I love to just drive a Rotero drone in, open up those head holes, and it gives us an entrance into the site, which is really great for a late round push, because if we do need to push in and go for a plant, we now have the wall open from top square. Of course, easier said than done, but I'd rather have that in my pocket than not having it. It's got a great loadout, very useful gadget, and I think he fits in the A tier alongside Damos and Osa. Zero is an operator who I love, right? I think he's a great solo operator. I think you can do so much with Zero, but I hate to admit it, I just feel like his gadget is just a bit too clunky, and I don't know if I want to put him in B or C, and I may move him later in the video depending on what one I choose, but it's just like the way he deploys and the way everything acts, I just feel like it sometimes misses the mark. But because he does have so many cameras at his disposal, I am going to put him in B, and I'm going to give this sort of same reason which I give for Brava, where it's not necessarily that their gadget is bad, it's just kind of hard to get the payoff for it, and the big payoffs for their gadgets are sometimes very few and far between, which again I hate to say because I think he's a great operator. So I think that's like fair for me in my mind to put him in B tier because of that, which I do think is a shame, because in my perfect world Sam Fisher would be an S tier operator any day. But I just think the way he translates in game is good, but he still has some of the flaws which other cam and drone operators on attack have, which having a big payoff is quite hard due to some limitations of just being on a drone and how easy they are to spot and how easy they are to counter. But yeah, that's how I feel. Right, our next attacker here is Ace, and he's probably another S tier operator to me. Incredible gun. The AK is absolutely phenomenal. You can do so much versatility breaching with Ace. The only parts where he kind of falls flatter is if you're grabbing hatches, or if you do want a big open breach. Now, you can dedicate a lot of Selmas to the breach itself, but that means that you're kind of dedicating a lot to one wall, whereas one thermite charge can just open up a wall really big. So, you know, it's good that all hard breachers have their strengths and weaknesses. He's just so flexible, versatile, and yeah, I think Ace is amazing, and he's an easy S tier operator. Right, our next operator, or attacker shall I say, is Ayana, and I kind of want to put her, do I want to put her in A or B? That's the question. Due to the fact she has an unlimited drone, like that's basically what her gadget is when you dumb it down, I'm gonna put her in A tier, just a bit above Brava and Zero, because yeah, like in bulk standard terms, Ayana's gadget is that she just has a drone that replenishes over time and can be used repeatedly. It has pretty much the same counters as drones, but it's a hologram instead of a drone, but it plays the exact same way as you'd expect a drone to work. So I think due to the fact that she has this ability and how useful it is, that makes her an A tier operator. I think a lot of people sort of saw Ayana fall off for them personally, because they sort of changed her and sort of to like limit her fragging capability, which if you know, it's clear that that was never Ubisoft's intention, was to make Ayana a fragger. She was always developed to be a support operator. Even in the lore, she's not even that much of a soldier. Like, she was always meant to be more of a backbone, support operator, and then she kind of got played a bit differently. So it's been clear that Ubisoft have trying to shift her role for a long time now. But when you do play her, you know, with the gadget being the focal point of why you're playing her, she's actually very good. It's just a shame not a lot of people actually do that. But when you do see people doing it, and it does pay off for them. So yeah, to me, an A tier operator. Next up, we have Cali. I mean, I love Cali. Her gadget's great. She's a main alternative to Thatcher, at least pre-Impact EMP nade. But I think it's just the fact that she has a sniper, which really, you know, puts me off sometimes, because there'll be situations where I'll hit someone in like the upper torso with the sniper and they won't die, which you can call it fair, you can call it based on their armor and stuff like that. But to me, when I'm in a one-shot headshot game and I have a sniper rifle and I'm hitting someone in the upper torso, if they're not dying, I'm going to be dead then, because they're going to hit me in the head. So it's the fact that she's limited to a sniper which really pushes Cali down for me. And I love playing Cali. If you, again, ever watch my streams, when we're on Canal, I'll always play Cali on an upstairs attack. I love Cali attacking upstairs. I do so much. I slam people with Cali. But, you know, limiting her primary weapon to a sniper, to me at least, bumps her down a few tiers. Her gadget's great. I just think it's a bit of a shame that the main alternative to Thatcher was limited to a sniper. But I guess that's also intentional, considering how important a role she does play. But yeah, she's going to go in C tier for me purely because of the sniper. Again, not necessarily bad. It's just like, I'd rather not sometimes, you know. But yeah. The next one is Amaru. She's probably going to be like a D tier operator for me. She's fine. She does her job good. If you need to fly up a hatch, it's useful. If you want to go for a rush, she's useful. But like, when I'm actually thinking of like a coordinated team aspect, an Amaru flying through a window at least isn't like my go-to. But it's good that that's in game, if you know what I mean. Like, it's good that there's an option and there's an operator who can repel fast. Like, that's her gimmick. She can get into windows faster and she can fly up hatches, which other people can. I think that's a great gimmick. I think Amaru 100% has a place in the game, and you can do so many strats with her. But when I'm looking in like the grand scheme of things of operators, like, she isn't up there for me, you know? Like, the grappling gun, useful, great. If you're going for a coordinated push, it will work. You have to base your push around it and stuff like that. Not a bad operator at all. But yeah, like, compared to other operators, she isn't my go-to at any stretch of the imagination. Right, so let's move along here. All of these are defenders, and our next attacker is Gridlock, who is an A tier operator for me. And I'm gonna, you know, bundle Gridlock and Nomad together. I'm just gonna put them both in A tier at the same time, since they both do similar roles. You know, if it was like 2 years ago, Gridlock probably would have been like B or C tier, but they finally started to improve her a bit. I love Gridlock's loadout. I actually think Gridlock's primaries might be my favorite primary options in the game. Like, both of them are absolutely hard-hitting, no recoil, amazing guns. Yeah, you know, flank watch is such an important thing, and she does it with ease. I think it's a bit of a shame that Operation Wind Bastion predated Operation... Oh, what was it? I can't remember the Australian season for some reason. Someone commented. I know it, but it's escaped my mind right now. But these two attackers came back to back from each other, which I think is a bit of a shame, that the more, I guess, flashy and visibly easier flank watch operator, which is Nomad with the air jabs, came out before Gridlock. Because when you've got Nomad, who a lot of people just see as a better version of Gridlock, came out a season before Gridlock, you can kind of see why people didn't really pick Gridlock up. But I think over time they've both became like their own things. I made a video, I think like last year, talking about why I actually think Gridlock's a little bit better than Nomad. Although I think they're on the same tier, I actually think Gridlock can be favored a lot of the time over Nomad as a flank watch operator. If you want to check that out, you're welcome to. The mic probably sucks. I can't even watch my old videos back without cringing. But yeah, I think they both, you know, became their own people, became their own flank watch operators. And if I have a teammate who picks either of them, I'll be happy. I don't really care if they go nomad or gridlock. As long as we have one of them, I'm happy. They're both amazing operators. Yeah, I love them both. Great ops. Maverick is an operator who like used to be like an S tier, and then for a lot of people he dropped down again. For me, he's another A tier operator. I think especially now is because like there's just so many people playing Kaid these days, and sometimes a lot of ops will be banned, and it might just be hard to also counter someone bandit tricking with a tuberao, with a mute jammer, with an electric claw. Maverick just helps make a lot of that easier, and he does a great job at it. And I think he definitely showed his worth over time after he got nerfed, because he went from an amazing operator at launch, everyone loved him, then they started to nerf him over the years, and a lot of people start to fall out of love with him. But then when you realize how much utility nowadays is being dumped on a wall to keep it closed, that's when Maverick sort of came back into the spotlight and been like, hey guys, I can do this for you with relative ease. If he's tricking, who cares? If there's a tuberao, who cares? If there's a mute jammer, who cares? If there's an electric law, who cares? I can Maverick trick, I can make the wall soft. I definitely think the introduction of tuberao sort of brought Maverick back to the spotlight. And with so many Kaid players these days as well, yeah, I'm happy to see Maverick come back to his sort of former glory. Maybe, albeit not as strong as he was before, but definitely as useful as he was before. Right, next up we have Lion. And, oh, I don't know if I want to put him in A tier as well. Maybe I'll put him in B tier for now, which I feel like I might move to A tier later in the video, because none of this stuff is final. I like to sometimes move stuff at the end if I do change my mind. Lion, great operator, went from overpowered at launch. I'm actually impressed that they've managed to balance him as an operator these days. I just kind of don't really desire playing him anymore. I kind of find him a boring to play, which I mean is a bit funny that I'm saying like an operator who forces every defender to stand still when he chooses is a bit boring. I think it's kind of funny. But you know, he's useful, he works out, it always helps to have one on a team. I just think nowadays I favor operators over Lion. I favor Jackal, I favor Damos. So this isn't a case of like Lion being bad, like, you know, B tier and stuff. It isn't a case of these operators being bad. It's sort of just like I'd rather favor a different operator a lot of the times. So I'm kind of gonna sit Lion in that case as well. Finka being the only healer on attack honestly might push her up to S tier for me. Yeah, that's mainly just down to the fact she's the only attacking healer, which like you really do understand the worth of Finka when you actually have one on your team, because you feel its effect. You feel the fact that I'm getting revived here. It makes so much stuff easier. I think a lot of people actually take Finka for granted these days. I think her gadget's amazing. I love just having a Finka on the team. It makes me feel a bit more secure in some stuff we do, and when people get injured, it is just amazing to pick them up again, because it leads to so many interesting plays. So I think, you know, I see people say, oh, Finka's fallen off a bit, does she need a buff? No, I just think people need to give her another chance again and realize that she's amazing. Like, I love Finka. You're going to do so much with Finka. She's going to bring so much to the team. And yeah, I think she's an S tier operator. I think being the only healer on attack warrants that spot for her. Another S tier operator is Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi, amazing operator. Even though she just got a nerf in Year 9 Season 3, she's still incredible. She's still great at roam clearing, you know, exposing people's positions. One of the strongest things she can do is knock defenders off their cameras, even dead defenders. I was gonna say dead to cameras, even dead defenders, because that means that when you go for a phone call, you know that you can go for a plant with safety, with no bulletproofs on you, with no evil eyes, with no yokai drones. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you can prevent her from doing. She also has a strong DMR. DMRs are amazing. She's got EMP impacts, Gone 6, as well as this, you can access the defender's feed. Like, Dokkaebi is like a one-man army. I understand they needed to tone her down this season, and I think it was completely fair. But she's still amazing. I love the position she's in right now, and I think she will forever remain one of the best attackers in Rainbow Six Siege for as long as this game stands. Unless they completely nerf her to the ground, she's still going to be S tier, and I don't see anything changing that. Next up, we have Sophia. This is an operator I kind of hate to hate, if that's a correct term, because I do like her, but I think maybe she's probably going to be C or B tier. I mean, I like playing Sophia, so I'm going to bump her up to B tier. I think the fact that she can stop a defuse with her concussions from a distance really gives me, personally, a lot of value in her. The impacts are also useful as well. I just feel like nowadays she sort of struggles to stand out. Like, I remember when she came out, there was like a big thing with like her and Ashe, where it was like, what differentiates the both? And the whole thing was, it was actually like Sophia was the better Ashe, because Sophia had more utility to like use and dump, and she had withstand. So like Sophia sort of became the more favorable version of Ashe. And then over time, it seems like people have gravitated back towards Ashe after more nerfs to Sophia. And it kind of feels like Sophia lost the identity she once had, which I do think is a bit of a shame. I don't think she should get withstand back. I'm not saying that. I think that was a fair removal, and we'll have a discussion about that if you want. Maybe ask it in a mailbox or something like that. But I feel like she just sort of struggles to stand out as an operator these days. So I've personally tried my best to pick her up again and make plays with her and make her useful. And she is very useful. So I see her potential. I do like her. So I'm going to put her in B tier. Next up, we have the most annoying bitch in the game. We have Ying. Candelas are just crazy good. The flashbang ability when you're going for an execute, when they start lobbing those Candelas in, you know you're in for a heck of a ride. Me personally, she's going to be an A tier operator. Kind of just because I don't really like her gun. Like for me personally, that's kind of what's holding her back for me. I don't enjoy playing Ying myself. Which you can call me weird if you want, that's fine. She's objectively a good operator. Great operator. Those Candelas scare me every time I see them. And if someone bans Ying, I'll be like, yeah, you made a good decision there. And if one of my teammates want to play Ying, I know him for a great coordination. But me personally, I'm not a Ying player. Never have been. Probably never will be. You know, watch me make a ranked video in like 2 weeks where I'm like, I'm the best Ying player ever. And I like pick up Ying and really enjoy her. But yeah, Candelas, you know, they're flashbangs. Flashbangs will always be useful. The way that Ying can do it is very useful. And yeah, Ying is a A-tier operator, in my opinion. The next attacker we have is Jackal. Probably got another A-tier operator. You know, put him on par with Damos with the tracking. Just think he's a little bit above Lion and stuff like that. Probably one of the most banned operators in Siege is Jackal because he can do it with so much ease. But yeah, being able to roam clear, do all this stuff, yeah, it's amazing. Lovely operator. But A tier, in my opinion. I don't know. I just, even if you may disagree, I have a feeling when I need to put an operator in S tier, and I don't have that feeling with Jackal right now. Hibana, I don't want to make this video boring, but I want to put her in A tier as well. The fact that you can like split the Kairos, grab hatches. She's actually great at countering castle as well. Like if you're on Clubhouse, all of the bedroom windows, if they're all castle barricaded, if you bring a Hibana, put the Kairos to the 2 option, you can clear them all with so much ease and still have so much utility left over. Hibana's amazing. I don't want to make this video boring and put everyone in A tier. I mean, I know not everyone's in A tier, but I'm not gonna like start putting people in lower tiers just to fill them up. So yeah, to me, Hibana, operator I play constantly, love her loadout, love her skins. They always make great Hibana skins. Yeah, probably an easy A tier operator for me as well. Capal, to me is, oh, is he S or A? Let me think. I don't know if I want to put him in A or S tier. I'm feeling A tier. I'm feeling A tier. Again, I'm not gonna put everyone in A tier, I promise. But you know, he's an amazing gadget and stuff like that. He's great. I love the fire bolts. I love playing him on like border and outback where there's like open roofs, so you can easily get those bolts over. Like I was attacking office on border. I shot the flame bolts over fountain roof. It caused the guy in fountain to die, and we were actually able to win that round, which was crazy. He's an amazing operator. I feel like Capal is an operator a lot of people sleep on as well. Like, if you're watching this right now and you don't play Capal, pick him up more. He's amazing. Like, I love Capal. You can do so much with him. He's such a versatile, fun operator. But yeah, you know, I was saying I have that feeling when an operator can't really be pushed into S tier. It's kind of how I'm feeling with Capal right now. But yeah, I do love him. This is going to be a controversial take. Blackbeard. You guys, I'm saying very controversial. You guys might probably think, oh, Blackbeard, obvious F tier operator. I'm sorry to say this, but to me personally, Blackbeard is a B tier operator. And This is going to come down again to people who watch my streams. I play Blackbeard all the time. I love Blackbeard. I actually kind of don't want him to get a rework. That's how much I play Blackbeard. Unless his rework does improve him as well as balance him, then yeah, I'll take it. But I actually really love playing Blackbeard in this current meta. I think he plays very well. I think if you play him smart, you can punish the enemies a lot. People may call it baiting. It's not baiting. It's holding a line of sight. I love playing Blackbeard on rappel outside of theme parks cache. I sit on that rappel. The head holes are usually always made by the enemies. My teammates push yellow side. I can just pinch anyone in waiting room. They peek waiting room to sort of slow down this yellow push. They're dead. People, again, I get called a baiter for that. People call me baiting all the time. That's not baiting. That's a pinch. That's how you play the game. If you don't want to play the game like that, go back to Fortnite. But yeah, the amount of times I've been saved by his shield, the amount of times that I've been sort of cucked by his shield as well, does lead to a lot of issues, but they are reworking him. But for the most part, I find a lot of use out of Blackbeard personally, and I actually really like him. I'm probably one of the only people saying that. I like Blackbeard. I like him as a B tier operator. No, can't at me. Talk to my lawyer. We're moving on to Buck, who is an S tier operator, probably the best operator in the game right now. Either him or Dokkaebi are like the best operator in the game. Buck is so versatile. Great weapon, soft breach, hard breach. You can do so much with them. If you vertical play from below, so shooting up upwards. Just the flexibility of being able to switch between the shotgun, soft breach, and your primary weapon so fast is great. Everything about him is just perfect. He is like the soldier of Siege, you know what I mean? Like when I think of like an FPS shooter and I think of that versatile, great, amazing soldier, I think of Buck. He can just do so much. I think he's great. I love Buck. It's amazing. Right, next up we have Sledge. He's an operator who's just fallen from grace from me. I'll put him on par with Cali. Everything that Sledge can do, I think every operator can do better. Like, you know, Ram and Buck better for versatility. If I want to destroy castles, Habana does it better. If I want to destroy Evil Eyes, I can just punch it with my fist. If I want to destroy barbed wire, I can just punch it with my fist. There's a lot of stuff that you can do better. I think Sledge just doesn't really have a place in the game like he used to, which is a shame, because he is fun to play, and I like him. But I can't, you know, bring myself to put him higher on the list. But, you know, C tier I think is fair for him, but, like, why would I ever want to play a Sledge these days, which is kind of a shame, because he's the poster boy of Siege, and he's my operator. I'm Scottish. Sledge is Scottish, but, yeah, sad to say that I just don't think he's the operator he used to be. Thatcher, though, is an S tier operator. Although EMP impacts exist, and, you know, one might say it replaced him, it didn't really. The entire existence of EMP impacts is because Thatcher is that much of a necessary operator. He can still do a lot of stuff which EMP impacts are not the best at, and it's a lot safer bringing a Thatcher. I mean, just think of it, if there's two bandit batteries spaced out on a wall, on a double wall, you need to use 2 EMP impacts for that. Whereas you can use 1 Thatcher EMP, and you still have, you know, more left after that. So there's still a lot of stuff you can do with Thatcher. I think a lot of people take him for granted because of impact EMPs, but no, he's still amazing. He still counters pretty much every defender for the most part. Yeah, Thatcher, I think a lot of people just sleep on these days because there is alternatives, but he is still the big dog. He is still Mr. Rainbow Six Siege himself, in my opinion. We have Ashe, probably an A tier operator as well. A lot of people treat her as like the brain dead rushing operator when she's actually not. She's actually a really great operator. You can do a lot of stuff with Ashe. When you play Ashe correctly, she can do a lot of stuff. The breaching, soft breaching at distance, not necessarily for vertical, but for more horizontal breaching, is very useful, and a lot of people favor her loadout as well. But yeah, I actually like her for the correct reasons, not just because I like to rush, because I don't like to rush. I think that's very boring. And if I was going to rush, I wouldn't pick Ashe. I'd pick Amaru with a shotgun, because that's a better gun. But yeah, A tier. Thermite, probably, I guess tier. I mean, it's Thermite, you know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do? He's like the most, statistically, the most balanced operator in the game. He's perfect. I don't really think I have to say more than that for Thermite. Just an S tier operator all around. Monty's another S tier operator, bro. Monty is a powerhouse. I don't think I even need to tell you guys how much of a powerhouse Monty is right now. Like, he's fucking insane. EMP impacts make him strong, the shield rework and everything. Yeah, Monty is literally just, like, crazy good. Like, yeah, I don't have to say more. Like, do I have to explain to you why the fully extendable shield op is amazing? I don't think so. Twitch. I'll put her in A tier because when it comes to Brava and Zero, my main complaint is they're quite hard to pull off, but when they do, it's quite high. I don't think Twitch is hard to pull off. I think she's quite easy to pull off. So I think she fits a bit higher. Yeah, I'm comfortable with A tier for her. Because you can definitely pull a lot of stuff quite easy with Twitch, despite being a drone. And the drone boost did help, but B tier, A tier, Twitch, nah, A tier. Probably Blitz. Blitz is another A tier. He's not as strong as Monty, but the shield still made him good. Again, I'm not trying to put everyone in A tier, but I'm trying to be honest as well. Blitz, yeah, he's like the weaker version of Monty, but shield still made him insane. IQ is probably A tier, B tier, A tier, A tier, A tier as well. IQ goes into A tier for me as well. Again, she just does her job. She does it amazing. If I need an IQ, I'll bring an IQ. She does it fine. I love IQ. She feels like a comfortable A for me. Again, not trying to put everyone in A. Same case with Fuse. Fuck it, actually. Fuse is S tier. Fuse is actually an S tier operator in my opinion. The mixture of the shield, the mixture of the AK, having an option as well. Being able to hard breach with the secondary hard breach charge and the cluster charge. He's great at clearing gadgets. He's great at everything. I think Fuse is amazing. I think people sleep on him. And the people who don't sleep on him, you're right not to, because he's amazing. I saw some people in lower ranks say that Fuse is overpowered, and I can see why you think that. I don't think he's overpowered. I think you guys just struggle to counter him. But at least you understand that he's good, because I think a lot of people in high ranks actually take that for granted with the amount of stuff that Fuse can do. So S tier operator for me. Glaz is an operator I love playing all the time. He's quite fun, but he's a B tier operator for me. I can't really bring myself to put Glaz any higher, but I think he has a lot of use, especially with the thermal scope and stuff like that. Sense stinker operator in F. Not even use the E tier. Like, what do you mean? What do you want to say? A smoke grenade has less counters than Sense. Like, it's a cool gadget. I think it has a place in the game, but it's like a smoke grenade cannot be countered by a mute jammer, cannot be countered by an impact nade, can be brought by any, well, not any operator, but operators who have the smoke canister. You can pinpoint where you want it to land. Sense, it flies all across the room and goes places you didn't want it to go. It can be countered by mute. It can be shot. A smoke grenade cannot be shot. It can be countered by impact grenades and explosives, and it can, you know, see through by warden. So can smoke grenades, but it's not got as many counters as Sense does. Like, the issue with Sense is that their gadget factually is worse than a smoke grenade. That's simply it. I understand what they're going for with Sense, and I understand why it has more counters, because they want it to do more and you can bring more, and I get that. But in retrospect, when you actually simply just want to block off a line of sight, a smoke grenade is more reliable, safer, and accurate. So, like, that's the issue with Sense. Like, the gadget, I get it. I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it, but it just doesn't play out well. And with that, if I'm not wrong, the final attacker we have here is Striker, and Striker's A tier. The mixture of, I think, stuns and nades, and the mixture of EMPs and hard breach give Striker a reason to exist. Like Sentry, on the other hand, defense, I don't like Sentry that much. Striker, I actually really do like. M4 is great as well, pocket shotgun. They're sort of like a Swiss Army knife, which is what they're going for with the recruits. I definitely think it went better with Striker than it did with Sentry. But yeah, A tier. Now, I'm just adding this bit in because somehow I glossed over Nook so many times and completely forgot to put her in. But to me, she's an A tier operator because of her most recent buff. As long as she isn't shooting or sprinting or doing actions, she is immune to cameras for the entire round, which is absolutely insane. Now, the reason why she's not S tier for me personally is because there are still so many traps that can trip her up, like goo mines, like banshees, proxy alarms. All that stuff still affects her. But I definitely think her most recent buff was amazing, and it's definitely pushed her up as an operator, and I am happy to see her in A tier. I think that's absolutely amazing, and yeah, definitely an A tier operator. Will they buff her more? We're yet to see, but she looks great, and I'm having so much more fun playing her now than I did before. It was a great buff. So everyone, that is my Year 9 Season 3 list for operators in Rainbow Six Siege. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I think I'm kind of intent with this list for the attackers. Like, I feel bad seeing Sledge down there, but I feel bad if I put him any higher. Maybe I should put them on the same length with like Amaru, but I think Amaru is D for me. But yeah, this is my opinion. You're welcome to disagree. You're entitled to disagree. I want you to disagree because then you'll comment your thoughts because I want to hear your thoughts. And I think that's what's the fun of the game is. If everyone agreed on everything, we would not get any buffs or nerfs or any improvements to the game, and everyone would just be kissing up each other's opinion, because where's the fun in that? But yeah, this is my opinion. I'll probably change my list tomorrow if I was to make it, because that's how much I changed my opinion on operators. But as of today, this is my one for Year 9 Season 3. Let me know your thoughts. I'll make one in Year 9 Season 4. Yeah, have an incredible rest of your day. I love you all. Stay safe. I'll catch you later. Peace.